Today we're talking about making or finding a place to call your own. As people coming out of the military, I mean, anybody needs this, not just us veterans, but like coming out of the military, you've been a part of something bigger than yourself. I don't know, like I think bigger than yourself is the best way to describe it.
I mean, you're used to being part of a organization, and now you're going back to being a person. You have a drastically different view of the world. You're used to a certain environment and freedom to do certain things that you aren't outside, and you can't do certain things in the military that you can outside the military, like walking and talking on your phone, chewing
Hands
bubble
in your
gum.
pockets.
Hands in your pockets. I still to this day feel unnerved. Feeling weird, like not having to have a watch or a pin on you as part of your uniform every day. Inspectable items.
I feel like you need to talk about something. So, finding yourself, finding a place that you can be yourself, remembering who you are, not to wax Mufasa about it, but
Rafiki.
I mean, Mufasa was remember who you are.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, we're talking about remembering who you are and finding that place or building that place for yourself that you can be who you are authentically. In the first episode, I believe we spoke about how if you're not authentic, the people around you are going to notice. One of the things I found that helps in every new friend group, finding those people who I can connect to, is the first step you have to do when you're finding a group is to be authentic. Nobody wants to deal with you if you're not even going to be true
to yourself.
To yourself, but also when you're talking to them. Like, if you're not willing to meet them with authenticity, why would they listen to you?
First step is finding out who you are as a person. Now you've kind of grown into that a little bit throughout the military. You kind of end up compartmentalizing your military self versus who you are back in the barracks and everything. And that kind of leads us into actually what I view is making a place your own. Everywhere I've been, whether it be in my own place, in my own room, renting a room from a friend for a while, or living in my own place, or being on a cot in a 30-man tent, you will always see people that have kind of added a little bit of their own personality to their very limited space. I mean, we're talking like a space that's as big as this table here. And you can find out oh, hey, I know exactly whose bunk that is because they are this type of a nerd and they have this piece of small memorabilia that they carry everywhere with them because it is A, part of their personality, and B, it's also kind of a comfort item, which is part of making your space your own. Your comfort items, things that represent you and that you feel comfortable having on display. And I know when I was on deployment, everybody had their sports team's flags, or their little, for the tankers and everybody, their little squadron flag or vehicle flag or whatever they decided to fly for the month. More often than not, pirate flags. Huh?
Anime body pillows.
No, those weren't a thing on my deployment quite yet. They were. Yes, they were a thing.
I've seen some pictures.
So, making an area your own, regardless, in some way. Even with field problems and everything, or being out in the field, you'll see that people, they make their bunks their own, but yet still adhere within the regulation. And the same thing goes for making a space your own. Figure out what you like. In my own personal apartment and everything, my living room, it has very much so an aesthetic to it. And it very much so has a vibe that is you get to know me, you come to my place, and yeah, this is his vibe. It's very warm, inviting, yet personal.
It smells like leather in here.
Yeah. The big comfy leather couch is a thing.
The big comfy leather couch.
It's a thing.
But I mean, I'm the same way. You come over, all of my nerd stuff, now that we have the house, finally, we have everything sort of spread out through the house. Mm-hmm. Our personality is on display in everything.
So my workspace, my workshop, or my craft room, which is a spare room in my apartment, that is definitely more of a reflection of my personality than the entire rest of my apartment, because I spend most of my time in my apartment either in my craft room or my living room. Yeah. Like, you'll see, like, one of my bookshelves, it is quite literally me personified. I mean, the bottom two shelves are nothing but like textbooks from my educational background and everything, with the heaviest stuff on the bottom, both weight balancing and also like foundation of who I am as a person inadvertently. And then the next couple shelves above that are like all the little knickknacks and little tchotchke things from the last couple decades of my life that kind of are representative of big points in my lifetime.
I do love a good knickknack. But that's what you should have, and not even just as a physical space. Like, you should be able to have that emotional space that feels the same. You should have that. I don't care if it's a group of friends you're hanging out with. I don't care if it's a place you go, the local card shop, church, the Kentucky Derby. As long as I'm just trying to find places.
Sorry,
but
this took me off guard on that one.
But you need to have places that emotionally give you that warm blanket feel.
I think the Kentucky Derby would be a weird, like, you got some problems if that's your emotionally warm place.
I mean,
I'm sorry, that's one of those, like, unless you're there just to actually watch the horses and everything, the Kentucky Derby is probably one of those places that I don't know. That just seems a little bit of a,
If this is you, just know it's not too late for help. It's 1-888 bets off for gambling.
Stop it.
So, but emotional warm blanket feeling is that feeling of that authenticity. When you're doing something, you go, hey, this feels right. I want to do this more. You need more experiences like this. You need to have more times where you just have that, this feels good. This feels right. And I know after I got out of the military, it was a little bit of time before I really felt that feeling again. Mm-hmm. And it's always the weird things that give me that feeling. So I'm not exactly a beacon of mental health, but it's taken me some time to go, okay, maybe this is who I am. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is a part of me that I didn't know existed before, or that I am just now rediscovering after the military. That's like, oh man, I remember doing this. I remember really enjoying doing this. Why did I stop doing this?
Oh yeah. And most of my, I agree with you. Why did I stop doing this? And then you realize, wait, I had to stop doing this because X, Y, Z things in my life happened.
Life happens.
It does.
I work for GameStop as my part-time job. And first off, I'm sorry. Second off, I have so many people coming in who are adults in their late 30s, early 40s, who are reminiscing about old games that they've been playing. GameStop has started taking in retro systems recently,
really?
Like Super Nintendos, Sega Genesis. Like, we've got a Super Nintendo in the shop that I work at right now. for like 80 something bucks.
Wow, GameStop is falling.
Yeah, it's interesting. But like I've got so many people coming in and reminiscing, and so many of them say the same things. Like when I was in high school, I had to I just gave all my stuff away because it was no longer cool. It was no longer seen as something I should have as a teenager to play these games.
If you weren't playing the latest NAA or sorry, in whatever
NCAA.
Yeah, NCAA. Sorry, almost.
Yeah, we're not playing the NAACP. No. We want no beef with you.
I'm sorry, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Well, we just lost any monetization.
Damn.
Anyway, the latest whatever sports ball game, the latest Call of Duty or first-person Chad shooter.
The modern culture accepting video games is such a interesting way. Like growing up as a teenager, I was always the nerd. I know none of you are shocked. You don't have to say it out loud. Anyway, I was always on the outside, so I never really gave up those things, but I saw it all the time where the kids wanted to be cool, so they got rid of their stuff. I don't want to play this anymore. I don't want my toys anymore because I'm 10 years old. I'm supposed to be this. And we lose that little piece of ourselves trying to fit what we think we should be. But what we should be is authentic to who we are. It's different if you no longer want to play this than it is for you to make that decision based off of what you assume people expect of you.
Yeah. What people think the ideal, what other people think is the ideal.
Yeah. So part of being authentic and finding your place is knowing, kind of remembering who you are. You need to remember what you like, what you don't like. Like these are both equally part of who you are as a person, both your likes and dislikes, the things that you hyperfixate on.
Oh yeah.
But I think what you have with finding your own place and making a place your own is a sense of being able to relax. It's having that thing to, there's that song, You're Like Coming Home. You have that moment where you're just able to take your hat and coat off, honey, I'm home, kind of like sitcom-y.
Yeah.
Where you go collapse on the couch and vegetate.
You don't have to feel judged, any judgment by your actions or movements or anything. You are able to just no armor on, no disguise, no persona, alternate persona, just you.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Or doesn't know your name.
Or doesn't know your name.
Or just knows that, hey, you're the guy that likes to do this particular craft tool. Like, oddly enough, like on my deployment, one of my favorite places to go was the MWR because all the sports ball guys were all over at the sports ball fields doing their sports ball thing and everything, or maybe their ultimate frisbee thing, I don't know. But the MWR, it was the nerdiest freaking place I'd ever been. I mean, I took up a table one day and just built a freaking Gundam model that I decided to buy because I felt like it.
Yep.
And next thing I know, I have people from the NWR staff like, hey, can we take some pictures of you and everything? Like, or other people like, oh, hey, which model are you building? Oh, you're building Heavy Arms Custom Kai?
Link in the description.
My one trick pony, how I love you. It's one trick, but it's a hell of a trick. But anyway, so yeah. And then next thing I know, I'm being invited to all these kinds of events that they're setting up and everything. And yeah,
you're authentic and people realize that you're being authentic. You found a place to call your own and you found comfort in that. And I think that's largely what we're trying to display here, is that ability to find you.
Mm-hmm.
Look for you, find you, and remember who you are.
So anyway, yeah. Again, as always, that whole like and subscribe thing.
Yep, like, subscribe, leave a comment.
Tell your friends, share it, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, do all the things.
Reddit, Facebook.
Be on the lookout for new merch, whether it be our stickers, t-shirts, whatever we decide that we might want to.
Probably need to get a baseball cap soon.
Something. We like our baseball caps.
We do. And guys, take care of yourselves, and until next time, see you downrange.